All right, and welcome back to Saturday Night Chit Chat. And it's hard to believe sometimes this show's been going on since the beginning of the pandemic. So what is that, like almost 14, 15 months ago? And one of my very, very first guests was this fine gentleman we have on today. And not that I really know what I'm doing now anymore, but I definitely didn't know what I was doing back then. So I asked him if he could come back on again and catch up. And everybody's, the life is a lot different than it was 14 months ago. So I wanted to catch up with them there. So everybody, please welcome to Saturday Night Chit Chat with FREEKBASS, the amazing and debonair Mr. Eddie Roberts. How you doing today, Eddie?
Wonderful. Thanks.
Yeah. So you're back in Denver, huh?
Back in Denver. Yeah, I've been here pretty much the entire time. I did spend a month in Nicaragua for my 50th birthday.
Oh, congratulations. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But yeah, Denver's been home for 6 years now, so yeah, back in our spot.
That's
And
Go ahead.
yeah, no, it's crazy. I was just thinking about the same thing that when you asked me to come on, I was like, wow, you've been doing this for a long time
I
since
know
the
it's.
beginning. It's like so hats off to you. Oh my God,
Oh well.
hats off to you, and it's great work that you're doing. And I did a little chat thing when I think I lasted about 6 weeks.
Yeah, it can be pretty well now. It's getting harder and harder, obviously, since we're playing shows again. So that it gets a little tricky. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I really enjoy it, and the best part for me is just being able to connect with other musicians and just see how everybody's doing. That was the point of the show, kind of in the beginning, and it's great to continue to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like you said, it's things are coming back, and we're all getting busy. I'm trying not to kind of like take on too much. It's just
Right,
trying to ease back in. I feel like last summer when Denver opened up, I just was like, sure, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that. And then
right,
suddenly I was just slammed. And I was like,
yeah,
whoa, this, I went from busy, from quietest I've ever been to the busiest I've ever been. And then
yeah,
locked down again. So I'm trying to be a little bit more thoughtful on how I'm re entering.
yeah. That's what that and that was going to be kind of my first question leading into this, Eddie. Is you know, during this whole time, the last 14 months or so, I mean, has Color Red, besides your traveling, but like, has Color Red been kind of more like your main focus?
Yeah,
And for those
absolutely.
of you just watching, by the way, if you don't know Eddie, besides being the guitar player and one of the main songwriters for New Mastersounds, he's also runs his own amazing label called Color Red, which we'll talk about too as well. But go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fortunate kind of situation for Color Red because suddenly I was grounded and I could put full time energy into the
Right.
label and developing it, and I feel like we came a long way in that kind of year and a half, whatever it was, um, and it definitely became a day job, a kind of 60-hour a week day job.
Yeah.
um, and then yeah, so that's like you said, then balancing live shows with so much work going into the label is that's where I'm at, trying to figure that out because I really enjoy the production side and the business development of
Yep.
the platform and everything, and I love that as much as I love performing. So
Sure.
getting the balance right.
Um, let's take us back for Color Red. Like, where did you, how did the whole idea for doing your own label like come to be?
Well, I'd kind of been involved in labels over the years. I ran a label back in the late 90s in the UK with a friend of mine, actually my mentor, Gipino Demone.
Mm,
And then when Mastersound started, we kind of got burnt on the first album that came out. And so we quickly realized, and, because I'd had the experience of understanding some of the business sides of it, we pretty much started our own label for the Mastersounds, One Note Records, and proceeded then to release every record for the next 18 years or whatever
yeah.
on that label. Um, so I'd had the experience before, and really, and Simon, the drummer from Mastersounds, kind of ended up running that because I was managing the band, so I kind of had him running the label side a bit more. But then, I'd ended up in Denver, saw this wealth of music happening constantly, people touring through, collaborations, all-star bands, and I was like, there's nobody capturing this. There's nobody recording anything, capturing it, and exposing this amazing music scene to the rest of the world. So that was the kind of one of the initial ideas of it. Also, I was paying for storage with all the Mastersounds backline in New Orleans, and it was going moldy. So
right, right.
well, why don't we bring it all up to Denver and put some mics around it and start recording? So
Nice.
there was a couple of things that started it off, and also a great friend of mine, a friendship that I developed over a few years with Zach Bloom, he was product manager at TuneCore at the time, and then he understood the whole digital revolution,
Right.
something that I wasn't. It was really hard to keep up.
Yeah.
So we combined forces. We combined his millennial skills with my vintage skills.
Right. That's a good way to put it too.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What blew me away, I remember when you all first started, was like you said you're going to be doing a single a week, and I was like, okay, that'll work for about the first 2 or 3 months. Good luck after that. You know what I mean? And it's amazing that, not only that you're just putting a single out a week, but you're able to, the quality control of it, whether it be on the musical side or on the visual side, it's just, that's mind blowing. Do you guys, are you able to keep up with that? Okay. I guess, it's gotta be,
We've got a great team, and, so we released a single every week since August 28th, 2018.
That's incredible.
And now we're more into the 3 or 4 singles a week.
Right.
Most times, because we're kind of, I never wanted Color Red to be just one genre. I didn't want it to be, obviously everyone knows me for funk and soul.
Right.
But I wanted it to be, cross-genre, non-genre specific, because I believe there's great music in every genre, and
right.
It's more about quality and independence in music, and kind of building what we're now calling channels, where we have the funk and soul channel, we have the blues Americana channel, we have the Afrobeat channel, and so that was always our kind of vision. It's like trying being the Netflix of independent music. Your
great.
horror genre and your crime genre. So it's like kind of like going that direction really, rather than just being a funk soul label. So that's kind of where we've got to with it.
Wow, that's amazing. Now let's just do a quick little scan on your history. I think I know some of the answers to these questions, but some of them I actually don't know. For as long as I've known you, is was guitar your first instrument? I'm not even sure they answer that question.
I had. Let's really think about this. I started violin lessons. Probably about 6.
Okay.
And I immediately started trying to play it like a guitar, and I ended up breaking the bridge, and then my parents gave it back to the rental store. So that was the end of that one. Then I started playing piano.
Were either your parents' music or anybody else in your family musical at all?
No. My grandmother on my dad's side was a piano teacher.
Okay.
She taught the kids in the village, but didn't teach my dad.
Yeah. Right.
And then, and my uncle on my mum's side is a choir master, he's an engineer as well, but he's become quite successful. They've put records out with this big choir that he has in London.
Oh, nice.
Kind of like, and my mum plays a bit of piano actually, to be fair. And she's got a real good feel and everything, but she never had the opportunity. Neither of my parents had that opportunity. So. My brother actually is not so much now, but he was a big record collector, back when we were kind of in our late teens, 20s and 30s. And he was a big source of musical knowledge, and he had a paper round, so he had the expendable income of the two of us.
Right. Wow.
And he just started buying records, and we would just just went down the rabbit hole, reading the sleeve notes and going,
right,
what's this jazz they talk about? What's this? What's this funk they talk about? And the paper chase of finding all these artists. And I started piano lessons probably when I was about you know, 8 or something.
Yeah.
And did that for a few years. But then, actually, I was in a park one time and I saw a guy playing the guitar with like 40 people around him, and I was like, now that's where I want to play, you know, because you've got a piano, you're staring at a wall.
Sure.
I was like, wow, that's like a social piano.
Right.
That's how I thought of it as a 10-year-old. Begged my parents for a guitar and got a guitar for Christmas. And
acoustic or electric?
It was actually a classical. I didn't get an electric guitar until I was 60.
Ah, so like nylon string,
Nylon
I mean?
strings.
Wow.
And so I'm trying to play Black Sabbath and Hendrix.
Right.
Classical guitar, but that's kind of where my style comes from because I had no sustain or distortion.
Right. So force you to be real rhythmic then, in other words, right?
So I had to play every note and like, you know, diddle, you know, it's like literally why I ended up playing the way I do.
That's incredible. So in the UK, I mean, are you basically from London-ish area, I'm assuming?
No, not at all. I'm from Wales.
Oh, okay.
So I'm from Wales. I actually did all my education in the Welsh language. So I was doing math in Welsh, and physics in Welsh, and sport in Welsh, and everything was it was a full-on Welsh-speaking school.
Oh my goodness, we'll have to do a show in Welsh one of these days. let you host it. So and then did you before Mastersounds, I mean, did you like in high school do like the high school band thing and that kind of stuff, cover bands and stuff?
So Welsh culture is heavily focused on the music and the arts.
Yeah.
And actually every year there's a thing called the Eisteddfod, which I call the literary Olympics, or it's kind of everyone in the school has to, you have to do something artistic. You have to paint a picture, write a poem, sing a song, do a dance. You have to do something. It's compulsory. And the whole country of Wales does this once a year on March 1st, St. David's Day. And so, and it was, most of it was usually traditional Welsh music, but then I kind of like, broke the seal a little bit and started doing. I remember playing and singing all along the Watchtower, Jimi Hendrix version in Welsh. I translated it into Welsh.
Wow.
He had to sing it in Welsh. So I translated it into Welsh and sang and performed it at this big concert hall in Cardiff.
That's incredible. Singing and playing too as well?
Singing and playing.
Wow, that's incredible. And then so I guess we're zapping down a few years probably down on your timeline, but so how did like New Mastersounds, like give me how that band came to be?
So I left Wales at 18, went to music school in Leeds in the north of England, Yorkshire, and then started putting bands together, and I probably 1, 2, 3. Mastersounds was probably like the fourth band that I put together.
Okay.
And originally, it was called the Mastersounds, and it was guitar, bass, drums, and percussion. Weirdly, in fact,
all instrumental.
Yeah. Say again.
All instrumental.
All instrumental.
Yeah.
And I found a recording of it recently, and I was actually surprised. I was surprised how good it was.
Wow.
I was like, oh, this is actually good. I think I'm going to try and master it and release it, just a digital release.
Yeah.
But, and Simon Allen was the drummer in that band.
So you and him are the only two originals?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And then that was probably around 96, 97. And then the band kind of folded for like a year, and then we came back and called it the New Mastersounds, and had Pete Chan and the original organ player Bob Birch.
Okay.
So that was 1999.
Okay.
And then we recorded our first album, I think in 2001, or maybe recorded 2000, released in 2001.
Yeah.
Came to America for the first time in 2004. Opened for the Grey Boy All Stars at the House of Blues in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
And thanks.
Was that your first time to the States?
Yep, first time in the States. And there was this guy in Chicago, Dave Vandenberg, and he randomly hit us up through our clunky website at the time.
Right, sure.
2003 probably when he hit us up. He'd been like following my releases since the early mid '90s.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You guys should play in America." We were like, "Yeah, right." I don't want to see how that's gonna happen. He's like, "No. I want to help."
Now,
you."
real quick before we get over to the States, were you guys like in the UK touring over there at that point at all?
Yeah, just touring the UK since '99.
Yeah.
A bit of Europe.
Okay. Yeah.
Mainland Europe, and and we were probably on our second. We'd probably released 2 albums by that point and a few singles.
Got it.
And then, so then he knew the manager of Grey Boys, and I'd actually met the Grey Boys. The first time Grey Boy All Stars played the UK, their first show was in Leeds, and my trio at the time, the Three Deuces, opened for them. So I met them in 96, 95.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, I know those guys, And so it worked out, and Dave helped us get over to America. We stayed at his house, and
And did you just play Chicago, or did you do any touring over there?
We played 2 nights in Chicago.
Yeah.
And realized we'd been on the complete wrong continent the entire time.
Sure.
We were like, we've been in the wrong place. There was like 1,000 people going crazy to the Great Boy All Stars, And
yeah.
Our jaws just dropped. We were like, what? Like, what's going
on? Right.
And that was the start of it. I think 2005 we came back. I did a little California run, played High Sierra for the first time.
Oh, nice.
And that was mind blowing. First proper festival.
Right.
For want of a better word, it was kind of like the movies we'd watched, the late '60s.
Yeah. Sure.
And I remember we showed up. We had nowhere to stay, and people were just like, "Well, you can sleep in our luggage tent if you want." And I remember sleeping with my legs sticking out of a luggage tent.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and the rest is kind of history.
Were you booking during that little run right there, the California run you're referring to? Were you booking yourself yet, or did you have an agent at this point?
No, Dave was still helping us, and driving us around a little bit. And,
yeah.
And then Madison House actually kind of heard about us through some shows we were doing, and then that was the first proper booking agent in the US that we got.
And then obviously you ended up eventually moving to the States. Was it like much longer after that, or was it
It was 2010, so
not too long. Yeah.
It felt like longer. I felt like we've been playing here for years, and then eventually I was like, I'm gonna move. But really it was 5 years really, because that first time we just came here for like a weekend. And we weren't touring. It was only 2000. I'd say 2006 and 2007 is when it really started happening. We shows out here, playing a lot of festivals. And I moved to San Francisco.
Okay.
I was, and I took over the management of the band even more so. I felt I needed to be in the U.S. because this is where we were playing. This is where career was developing.
And you're the only member out of the band that did move to the States. Is that correct? Yeah. Which is still currently true, right? You're the only still doing.
True. So, I said goodbye to those guys in Tokyo Airport, January 2020, and I haven't seen them since.
Oh, right, because that's when all the craziness started.
Currently, there's a ban on UK entering the US.
Oh wow! Is that from the UK side or the US side or both?
US side, actually. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because I had a situation. I thought the UK opened up travel to the US, and my daughter was going to come here for her 25th birthday, and they stopped her flying because it's the US that actually has a block on it.
Wow.
I was focusing so much on figuring out what the UK was doing that I didn't really understand. It was actually hard to even get the information. And she got all the way to the airport, and they refused her flight.
Wow. Wow.
That was pretty devastating.
Is
But
that something that has been, is that like a new policy or that's been going on the whole time?
it's kind of what it was the presidential proclamation, I think they called it, in January when Biden got in. He
Yeah.
made a proclamation, and he said, all right, all these countries, you can't come in. And nothing's been changed since then.
Just while we get the pandemic under control, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there was talk about them changing it at the beginning of July.
Yeah.
And now they've extended it again. So
Wow.
in theory, the Mastersounds is playing in October.
Right. I remember you telling me about that. Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna have to wait and see what happens, because
Wow.
nobody can tell us anything.
How are things in the, I keep reading, I subscribe to all the BBC and all that stuff. But how are things? Because I mean, the vaccine's not as readily available over there as it is over here, right? I mean, here you can pretty much go to your drugstore and get it today if you wanted to, but
I think anyone over like 25 can get it.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
So this, I think maybe younger people are having a wait. I think they just opened it up. So like I said, my daughter's 25, just turned it. So she's now eligible.
Okay.
Where she wasn't a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, wow. It's okay. Got it.
And
they have it semi under control over there now, it seems like.
No, everyone's dealing with it in a different way. And
right.
They've been, in my view, they've been very heavy-handed on the lockdown.
Yeah.
It's just, I know Simon's been struggling.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
It's because some of the things just don't make sense. It's just
sure.
So.
Well, I think it's the unknown of it with all of it. It's like as much even information, as the government probably has, obviously way more information than you and I have, but still, I'm sure even them, they don't even know 100% what's going to happen.
Yeah, sure. There's been some laws that don't make sense over there, and it's been very police state.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it, by what people have been telling me, it's so. I was grateful I was in Colorado.
Right.
Definitely being able to get sunshine in the mountains was
a
huge, a huge plus instead of gray skies in the UK.
Well, let's lead this to and we'll kind of start winding things up a little bit. What do you think? It's again, you're such a unique guest because you were on with me right at the beginning of all this craziness, and now here we are. Do you think we're just a matter of, say in early 2022, is 2022 just going to be just back to normal 2019 again, pre-pandemic? Or do you think we're in a, what's your feelings on that? Especially specifically live music, you know what I mean? With live music.
I mean, again, Colorado has been pretty much, it's been back to normal. It's been when I was, about a month ago or 6 weeks ago, I was like, it's 2019 again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's full cap, Red Rocks is rocking away. It's crazy how quick it just, they literally made an announcement on one random Sunday. They said, all right, it's over. And it's kind of
right.
Okay, this is weird. But, whether that'll sustain, who knows? I think by 2022 we'll be in a good state again. I think a lot of us were kind of biding our time, just kind of seeing, you're taking opportunities, but you don't want to over commit because you just don't know where it's going.
Right.
I mean, I hear that Greece and Spain just locked down again.
Yeah. I think Australia did too. I think, or at least semi-recently. I don't know if they opened back up again, but I think a couple weeks ago they did for sure. Yeah.
But I think I think we're gonna have a good summer. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what's happening in Colorado right now. I mean, the live music scene has been insane over this last month.
Yeah, I played a couple of shows. We were in Virginia, and I did a show in Columbus, and it was it was great, but it was weird. I was like, is this actually happening?
We've got two more outdoor venues. So you got Red Rocks, but now there's Dillon Amphitheater, which is...
Yeah, I keep seeing more and more stuff about that. Is that in Denver proper, kind of?
No, it's like an hour and 10 away. It's,
okay.
It's actually uh, it's right by Breckenridge. It's like you go up the I-70 up to the
Yeah.
ski mountains. It's like the turn off. It's the turn off before Breckenridge.
Okay.
It's Keystone ski resort, and it's right there on the lake. And I actually managed to get myself a sailboat on Lake Dillon. Because as you probably know, I'm obsessed with sailing.
I do. I
And
do.
so I have a slip in Frisco Marina. It's a huge lake, so it's an hour and a half sail from Frisco to Dillon.
Oh,
So
okay.
I sailed over to Dillon to watch the lattice show, and then
Yeah.
stayed overnight on the boat, which was hilarious. And that's kind of my plan for the summer. So yeah, I'm gonna do.
And that looks like more almost like, I mean, from the pictures, it looks more almost like a general admission type venue. Is it more like that? Or because I don't remember seeing seats. It looked like there were more just people were just kind of sitting on lawns and stuff. Or did I?
No, it's actually there's a bit of lawn, but there's also I feel like there's some kind of like concrete steps. It's kind of more
Oh,
like
okay.
restaurants, you know what I mean?
Got it.
Set up. Uh, so there's that, and then there's Levitt Pavilion, which Thievery Corporation just played on Friday.
Oh, yes. Oh,
And
yeah.
so we went to that. That is all just grass. It's like a natural bowl. They built a stage there. Like that.
Yeah.
That's Denver proper. I mean, it's kind of like, it's 15 minutes out of the center, but yeah, it's Denver. So
It's wild how Denver, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like who was I talking to? I think it was Adam Smith, and he was saying, does a lot of management stuff, and he was saying like how Denver's the one place you can play as a musician multiple times a year now. It's not like, certain markets, you only want to play once a year just because even New York. I mean, New York's is obviously bigger than Denver, but you've got to kind of pick and choose your, when you play there. But like Denver, it's like it's not a problem if you play there,
yeah, and
many times.
Yeah, it's kind of true, and I think it's a lot to do with these outdoor venues because they're an event in their own sense, like
Right.
playing, playing one of these outdoor venues is totally different from playing a club show. So you can definitely do, you do one in the summer and you do one in the winter, and then you come and do some ski resorts, and then you come and do.
Right.
It's like there's a lot here, and people are just so obsessed with music here.
Yeah.
So
That's wonderful.
Reasons I ended up here.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what do you, let's wrap it up with this. Well, first, before we wrap it up with my final question, many people that watch the show, they said, we hear you're having Mr. Eddie Roberts on, and we have to ask, this is the question that I've always wanted to ask you. Are you actually James Bond? If you follow you on social media, or Ashley on social media, which she's your photographer at hand, oh my gosh, it's like, oh, this week I'm in Peru, this week I'm in Nicaragua, this week I'm in Morocco, this week I'm like, they're looking, I know Daniel Craig's getting ready to wind down on his role, dude. I think you should stand in line, do
my turn next.
Yeah, man, it's pretty incredible, man. Yeah, I think that's we have the real life.
Someone's got to do it.
There we go. That's a good point. Yep. So, so what's on, say the next year or two, whether it be Mastersounds and or Color Red? I mean, kind of what are your kind of semi long-term goals for yourself and stuff?
I mean, like I said, Color Red, we're really trying to expand it as a music platform, rather than just a music label.
Right.
Music discovery platform is kind of one of our strap lines, and it's kind of just kind of developing that and widening the reach and widening the music. And
well, you already have different subsidiaries open in different countries already. There's like Color Red Japan now, right? And
I'm working with a bunch of artists in Africa, which is really cool, and mainland Europe, and just kind of like I said, expanding that network and just continuing to do so, with this, the platform that we built and the kind of the tech side of it, really helps that.
Sure.
Just bringing more awareness to independent music, to great independent music. So
yeah.
that's it's big focus, and I'm always I've always got little side projects. I've got little extra things that I like to keep myself musically busy.
Yeah.
Especially with the guys being in Europe, it's like we can only do tours when they're kind of big tours. So
Right.
I'm always, I like to keep my hand in playing along.
Sure.
And around Colorado, do things like coming to play with you.
Yeah. I'm always up for that. I actually heard I played a show with Joey Porter this past weekend. It was kind of a thing in Columbus, and I'd never heard. I mean, I remember when you guys released it, but like I think it's called the Joey Porter Trio. I think is what they called it on Color Red. And man, what a great, great record. I mean, it's great. Yeah, I hadn't heard that one yet. Not that I've heard anything in Color Red I haven't liked, but I mean that was a really cool one to hear too. So. Yeah, great stuff.
So just keep at it, and hope we do get back to normal, and hope everyone stays safe and well.
Well, good. Well, awesome. Well, hopefully the next time I see you, it will be in person. Hopefully playing with you. That would be the ultimate.
Let's get some dates on the calendar for some recording.
I'm ready. I'm always ready for that. So as I told you, for those listening, I trust myself mixing, but there's only one other person that I trust mixing my bass, and that's this gentleman right here. He makes me kind of sound like I semi know what I'm doing, and so I appreciate that. And the tones too. I mean, it's mainly the tone. For so long I've tried to with engineers I'll use them hey, listen, this old Louis Johnson record or Larry Graham record, and it's like. I found with mixing, the biggest thing I've known, I don't care what kind of equipment you have, it still all comes down to your ears. You can have the best or all the vintage stuff and everything, but if your ears don't hear it that way, it doesn't matter, Yeah.
Well, I remember someone saying, they were saying, oh yeah, Colorado state-of-the-art studio. I was like, no, I need to stop you there.
Right.
Opposite of state-of-the-art. But it's like, it's a means to an end, recording equipment and, producing everything. It's all a means to an end. But if the sound's in your head, you can get that sound on.
Yeah. Well, you definitely got it. So, all right. Well, Eddie, thank you so much, brother. And thanks for being on the show. And as always, you're inspiration to see, just to watch your journey. So, and, I know one of these days I'm going to hear down and see the little bullhole thing.
Oh, check out on our first Mastersounds album. There's a track called Bondo Sama, and it's a rip off of the James Bond thing.
Oh wow, perfect. That's on the first Mastersounds record.
On that first Kev Dodge Presents the New Mastersounds from 2001.
I will go check that out. All right, awesome. All right, brother. Well, you have a great week, and look forward to seeing you soon. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being on the show.
Great to see you.
All right, see you, man. Bye bye.